Hi Virgo, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Virgo, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you get a human design oracle deck card, and for your key to the week, my dear Virgos, this week you get the Gate 51 and Shock. So this is like the equivalent of the Tower card. It's really funny, look, the equivalent of the Tower card, right? So with that said, this week I'm going to say this to you because the Gate 51 has that very shocking, very out of the blue kind of energy. The way that I want you to think about this or to understand it is, all bets are off. What you think is going to happen is likely not going to, and what you don't think is going to happen is likely what's going to show up for you. This card tends to throw us through a tizzy, right? We don't really know what we're getting because it has that very Tower card like energy. Now, because this is your key to the week, and I am saying that all bets are off, it doesn't have to be bad stuff. You know, sometimes it could be that your boss comes to you and says, oh, by the way, your supervisor's walked out and we're putting you up for the position. Okay, wow, that's awesome. Still, you know, it's still going to throw your world topsy-turvy. For those of you that are continued subbies, you know I love you for it. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you have the Knight of Swords. This week, you are going to have to find a way to really keep on top of your mush, right? That's what we say here in the UK for mouth. This week, you could come across what you mean to say and the way that you actually come across. You might find there's a disconnect between those this week. You might say one thing and somebody else hears another or receives it in a different way. That Knight of Swords can be fast, aggressive communication, and in a lot of ways, it's asking you to be very clear on what you say. So if you are going to speak, speak slowly. If you are going to explain something, say what you mean and mean what you say. This is not a week to be vague, and it's not a week to leave things open to interpretation, because the chances are it will be somebody interprets something that you say in completely the wrong way, in a way that you didn't even mean it, and it's like, ah, fuck, you know, there's no taking that back now. That being said, because you've got that shock energy and it is the Knight of Swords, you may be tempted to throw yourself in this week at the deep end, and I am advising against it. If you're going swimming, take some armbands, right? For your communications and conversations, you have the Sun card. This is great, right? So there's a saving grace here, and it does suggest, even with some of the mishaps, even with some of the communication challenges and issues, there's going to be a silver lining here, right? So it may be, maybe you have a word with, let's say you're a business owner, as an example. You have a word with an employee that's been playing up or has constantly been late or whatever. And, you know, you come across as quite sort of harsh to them, and they're like, oh my, you know, I can't believe it. But they absolutely buck up their attitude and their ideas, and they get their shit together and get whatever needs to be done. And so it's like, you didn't mean to come across that way, but the fact that you did had actually a very positive, you know, result. So that could be good in one respect. Another way that this could show up for you, if you work for somebody else, you with all gusto, right? You could be up front and you're like, yeah, and you're totally ready to talk about something, and you know, you just go in for it. And they say, oh, by the way, that's not what we were talking about. Actually, we were talking about this. But your passion and your conviction, no matter how sort of far away from the market might be. Do you know what I mean? It could just be one of those things. As an example, you know, like on a driving test, if the examiner says to you, can you please turn right, and you turn left, and you're decisive and all the rest of it, and they're like, well, I did say turn right, but you were committed, you did it safely, you did it all the rest of it, you take it home. Okay, this could be like that. So just consider that this week this kind of energy seems to be going on for you, Virgos. For those of you that are retired or no longer working, this week could be surprise vacation. It could be a week where the plans that you had, you know, to have people over or to go and visit people either don't go ahead. And so this could be kind of like as well where you and some friends have booked out a villa, you know, to go and spend some time, and literally none of them turn up. You have this whole villa to yourself. You've got, do you know what I mean? Like, it could literally be that, or something along those lines. For your love and relations, you have the Two of Wands. You and your partner this week, for those of you that are partnered, married, long-term commitments, you and your partner could be talking about some sort of travel arrangements this week. You could just as easily be talking about something to do with the home on the longer term basis. I feel like this is about a potential move for some of you. And for a lot of you, there's going to be a conversation about money, finances, and resources this week. There's something that it looks like you may want to do, and it's like, I see this as an investment, and your partner's like, I see it as just potentially wasting a lot of money. You're going to have to find a way to balance this out. You got the Sun card there in the communication, so it could just be one of those things where it descends into like, not even an argument, just like, you know, like a petty squabble where both of you just end up looking at each other and being like, idiot. You know, it could literally be that. Another way that this could show up, for those of you that are single, I mean, the Two of Wands and the Sun card, you could meet somebody that's very wealthy, somebody that is in a position of power, authority, maybe somebody that comes from the other side of the tracks or the upper part of town or whatever. All in all though, I actually kind of like that. I think it could be fun. For your money and materials, you've got the Five of Wands. Coupled with the Sun card, this week you're spending money on experiences, and you're totally here for that, which I think is a good thing. You just want to make sure that, you know, you don't spend like 200 quid on tickets to see, I don't know, Cirque du Soleil, and you get there and it's like Cirque du Hole or but you see what I mean? Like, just make sure that you're actually getting what you pay for this week, because it looks like there's a potential here for a mix-up where you're paying for something and you think you're getting this, and actually it's something completely different. So just be aware that that is floating around. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this is going to be your back, your heart, and your spine, especially because you've got the Sun card here as well. So looking after your physical back, going to be quite important. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, you've got the Five of Wands. There's going to be, I just have to say this because it feels that way. The home seems to have a bit of an edgy vibe to it this week, and you might not be able to understand where it's coming from or who it's coming from. I don't think that you're in any danger. I just feel like your nervous system is dialed up to an 11 because of that shock card. So just consider that energy is it's floating around this week, and you know, you're not going to be able to get past it. There might be a lot of this going on. Find a way to ride it out. I'm sure you'll be fine. You guys tend to be really intelligent anyway, so you'll be good, all right? But I do feel like there's going to be some funny moments this week. You know, when sometimes things just get so intense that you just have to laugh it off because you're like, this is actually ridiculous. Whatever. All right, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.